During my childhood, a sense of irrational dread often consumed me when it came to our basement. I must confess it possessed an aura of foreboding that unnerved even the bravest of souls. The basement itself was quite expansive, with an imposing L-shaped couch serving as its centerpiece, nestled before a sturdy wooden support column. Dominating the space was our trusty old Bo TV, its screen a gateway to countless adventures within the realm of video games. The layout of the basement formed a circular path around the couch, leading past a quaint booth and table in one corner, an antiquated bar in another, and finally, the entrance to my father's modest workout room near the stairs. Due to our home's arrangement, with the upper floor leased to the kindly Ruth, our access was restricted to the ground floor and the basement. Consequently, my father seldom ventured downstairs, preferring the comfort of the living room upstairs, leaving the basement to serve as our sanctuary for gaming sessions. As the youngest of 3 siblings, aged between 6 and 8 at the time, I often found myself immersed in virtual worlds alongside my brothers. However, on this particular day, with my siblings absent and only my mother and me at home, a palpable sense of unease settled upon me. Descending the stairs into the dimly lit abyss, I couldn't shake the feeling of isolation exacerbated by the stubborn basement door that refused to remain ajar without assistance. Engrossed in my solitary gaming pursuits, every unexpected sound would send shivers down my spine, especially those emanating from the depths of the laundry room. Despite growing accustomed to these eerie noises, an unfamiliar sound pierced the air, prompting me to pause my game. It wasn't the usual hum of machinery, but rather the unsettling noise of something hitting the floor with a soft thud. Reacting instinctively, I bolted upstairs to seek solace in my mother's presence, breathlessly declaring the presence of an intruder in the basement. With a reassuring calmness, my mother investigated, briefly illuminating the laundry room before confirming its emptiness. Reassured by her words, I returned to my gaming, albeit with lingering apprehension lurking in the recesses of my mind. Night descended, casting the basement into darkness, intensifying my unease. Despite the feeble light filtering through the small windows during the day, the night cloaked the basement in an impenetrable veil of blackness. Despite my trepidation, hunger eventually compelled me to descend once more into the depths. However, my return was met with a startling revelation. The laundry room door stood ajar, bathing the room in inky darkness. Summoning my courage, I edged closer, hesitating to illuminate the room, my fear palpable in the oppressive silence. With a surge of bravery, I slammed the door shut, retreating to the safety of the couch, where I sought refuge in its familiar embrace. Yet my peace was short-lived, shattered by the chilling sound of a man's voice emanating from the shadows. Paralyzed with fear, I turned to confront the intruder, his gaunt figure hauntingly familiar yet utterly terrifying. His words sent shivers down my spine, his presence a sinister reminder of the dangers lurking in the darkness. In a panic, I fled upstairs, screaming for my mother as I sought sanctuary in the kitchen. Horrified by my revelation, my mother swiftly contacted the authorities, ushering me to safety as the police descended into the basement. The discovery of the intruder sent shockwaves through our family, unraveling the unsettling truth of his identity. My estranged uncle, a specter from our past, lurking in the shadows. His apprehension brought a fleeting sense of relief, yet the scars of that traumatic encounter would linger, a grim reminder of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface. Though he was swiftly returned to prison, the specter of his presence continues to haunt us, a chilling testament to the horrors that reside in the depths of human depravity. If you liked this story, subscribe to the channel to stay tuned. It was getting closer to Halloween, right in the middle of October. My cousin Andy's birthday falls on October 15th, so for his 12th birthday, we all gathered at our Uncle John and Aunt Melissa's house. They were hosting a family birthday bash for him. With our extended family being quite large, our get-togethers tended to get pretty lively. Since it was still warm outside, most of the party took place in the backyard. Their house was spacious, and we always loved playing hide-and-seek games because of it. Andy and I, being the same age, would team up with my older brother Chase, who was 2 years my senior. Even our older cousins joined in the fun. We'd split into teams, taking turns hiding and seeking. The rules were simple. If found, you had to run to the backyard to safety. The whole house was fair game for hiding, except Aunt Melissa's and Uncle John's bedroom. Let me tell you, the basement was a labyrinth of hiding spots. There was this separate room we called Aunt Melissa's fashion room. She's a fashion designer, and inside she had all these mannequins sporting her latest designs. Some were full-bodied, others just torsos, but they all looked eerily lifelike under the studio lights. I had this idea to use one of the mannequins as a decoy by covering it with a blanket. I figured it would make for a good prank. So, Chase and I found our hiding spots. He hid somewhere in the main section of the basement, while I snuck into the fashion room. I draped a blanket over one of the mannequins, making it look like someone was hiding underneath. It was the perfect setup for a surprise. As I waited, I could hear the others upstairs laughing and shouting. Chase was being chased around, trying to avoid being tagged. After what felt like forever, Chase came downstairs, calling my name. He said the food was ready, so the game was over. I was starving, so I rushed upstairs to join the feast. Later, after chatting with Aunt Melissa, I realized I'd left the blankets in her fashion room. I went back downstairs to retrieve them. When I entered the room, I saw that the blanket wasn't where I left it. Instead, it was covering something else, something that seemed to be moving. As I approached, I noticed a funky smell, unlike anything I'd smelled before. Beneath the blanket, I could see the figure of a person. I laughed, thinking it was someone playing a prank on me. But when I looked closer, I saw bare feet, and the unease in my stomach grew. I quickly left the room and told my uncle to call the police. Panic spread through the party as everyone realized there was someone in the basement. We searched the house but found nothing. When the police arrived, they took my claim seriously, but they couldn't find anyone either. It was a surreal experience, and even though most people believed me, I wished they could have seen it for themselves. The whole thing left me feeling unsettled, and it's a memory that still haunts me to this day. This tale unfolds when I was a sprightly 9-year-old, now on the cusp of 25. It was during a Christmas break, and my familial pilgrimage led me to my great-grandfather's abode, nestled in the heart of Idaho. This particular holiday season was punctuated by a new addition to our familial entourage, my mother's beau, a consequence of my parents' recent divorce. Nestled in a quaint Indian reservation town, my great-grandfather's residence, a modest 2-story dwelling, held court amidst sprawling fields and verdant forests. Its rustic charm remains etched in my memory, a testament to cherished moments of yore. A fortuitous surprise awaited us a day into our sojourn, as my aunt, uncle, and cousins, local denizens of the same quaint town, traversed 10 arduous hours to join our familial festivities. Their unanticipated arrival added an extra layer of merriment to our already jubilant gathering. As the adults engaged in animated discourse, my cousins and I, a trio bound by camaraderie, sought solace in the depths of the basement where the eerie game of monsters awaited us. Picture this: Sam and Evan, the designated monsters, cloaked in darkness, while Kennedy and I embarked on a daring quest to seek them out. Such innocent revelry, though in retrospect trivial, held us captive in a whirlwind of excitement and trepidation. Amidst the inky darkness of the basement, our senses heightened attuned to the faintest whisper or rustler, yet our youthful exuberance overshadowed any latent fears. However, a disconcerting moment shattered our facility of bravery when a figure loomed outside the basement window. Instinctively, I halted, a silent signal to my compatriot Kennedy. The ensuing exchange, a whispered revelation, evoked a sense of foreboding. Sam and Evan dismissed our apprehensions, attributing the specter to mundane explanations. Yet, a gnawing sense of disquiet lingered, defying facile explanations. A subsequent reconnaissance mission to the living room revealed an unsettling truth. No one was absent from the familial gathering. With trepidation gripping our hearts, We ascended the stairs, deliberating our next course of action. Vain attempts to assuage our fears culminated in a chilling discovery: a crack in the basement window, overlooked until that moment. Panic ensued as realization dawned upon us. The specter was no figment of imagination, but a corporeal presence lurking in our midst. The man, an enigmatic figure, seated amidst the dimly lit basement, cast an ominous shadow upon our innocent revelry. A frantic flight to safety, accompanied by frenzied exclamations, culminated in a harrowing confrontation with our bewildered kin. The ensuing tumult, a cacophony of emotions, reverberated through the night, leaving indelible scars upon our collective psyche. In the aftermath of the ordeal, amidst tearful embraces and whispered reassurances, a profound sense of vulnerability pervaded our consciousness. The specter of that fateful night loomed large, casting a long shadow over our familial bonds. Years have elapsed since that fateful encounter, yet the memory of that night continues to haunt me, a poignant reminder of the fragility of innocence. Though the passage of time has dulled its edges, the indelible imprint of that night remains etched in the annals of memory, a testament to the enduring power of fear and resilience. When my grandparents passed away, instead of my parents selling their house, they made the decision to let me live in it. At that time, I was at the age where moving out was on the horizon anyway. The arrangement was that I would take care of the taxes and monthly expenses. Initially, I relished the opportunity to live alone, reveling in the freedom to have guests over whenever I pleased. However, solitude soon began to weigh on me, prompting me to seek companionship. Enter Rocky, a 2-year-old German shepherd who quickly became my steadfast companion. Named after the iconic Rocky Balboa, he was a serene and gentle presence in my life. Rarely did he bark, only doing so when sensing danger or during playful interactions with other dogs. Setting up a cozy dog bed beside mine, I ensured that Rocky felt right at home. Keeping my bedroom door open at night allowed him easy access to water whenever he needed it. One fateful night, Rocky's barking jolted me awake, echoing from the hallway outside my room. Groggy and disoriented, I stumbled out of bed to investigate. Rubbing the sleep from my eyes, I followed the sound of Rocky's frantic barks to the basement door. His behavior unnerved me, as I had never seen him so agitated before. With a mixture of fear and curiosity, I cautiously opened the door, allowing Rocky to lead the way. Descending into the dimly lit basement, I braced myself for the unknown. Rocky, typically silent now, stood frozen, his gaze fixed on a corner obscured by shadows. As I approached, his unease became palpable. Together, we stood before a closed closet door, tension thick in the air. Unsure of what lay beyond, I hesitated, grappling with the decision to confront the mystery within. Sensing my trepidation, Rocky remained steadfast by my side, his loyalty unwavering. Ultimately, I chose to retreat, opting to prioritize safety over curiosity. Leading Rocky back upstairs, I secured the basement door and sought solace in the familiarity of my bedroom. With trembling hands, I dialed my father, seeking guidance in the face of uncertainty. As the conversation unfolded, a sinking realization dawned upon me. The basement door, once closed, was now ajar. Panic seized me as I heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps drawing nearer. With adrenaline coursing through my veins, I relayed the urgency of the situation to my father, his voice a beacon of reassurance in the darkness. Summoning the courage to act, I contacted the authorities, praying for swift intervention. By the time the police arrived, the intruder had vanished, leaving behind only the chilling reminder of their presence. The theft of valuables and the breach of security served as stark reminders of the vulnerability that lurked within the sanctity of home. Yet, amid the chaos and fear, one truth remained unwavering. Rocky, my faithful companion, stood as a beacon of unwavering loyalty and protection.